Good morning, Uganda. It's a Thursday, the 27th day of November 2025, and welcome back from that throwback Thursday. Music, a couple of songs that have ended that time for your enjoyment are songs from Bonnie M. And some documentaries have it that Bonnie M, the group, was of course made up of 3-4 people, but there was always one gentleman, and that is Bobby Farrell. But did you know that according to some documentaries out there, Bobby Farrell was never the one actually singing? These documentaries have it that their producer Frank Farian was always the one actually singing, and Bobby Farrell was always miming. Quite a shock there. Indeed, when you talk about Frank Farian, it also comes to the group Milli Vanilli that had won Grammys because of their music until it was proved that they were always miming these songs and not actually singing, because Frank Farian was the one singing in actual sense and they only mimed and were the face of their brands, just as it was for Bobby Farrell in the Bonnie M. Stories that you'll always discover and shock you from people who have blessed us with lots of music that carries a lot of memories. But welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Uganda, and it's about 20 minutes on to 7 a.m. here in Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania. But we come to you live from Uganda. The show is called Good Morning Uganda, and you're watching UBC TV, coming to you live from Nile Avenue. Now, some of the updates that we do have: Guinea-Bissau president arrested 3 days after elections. Now, that's an update that has a full detail, and Joan will be giving us that detail. But also, on a rather sad note, in Hong Kong, there was a fire outbreak, and reportedly a number of people have passed on, and this fire outbreak is on an estate that has lots of apartments in there, and it's said that it came from bamboo and a lot of foam there, mattress foam. Some of the apartment owners, estate owners, 3 of them have so far been arrested, and the death toll is expected to be rising, but firefighters are doing everything they can to save the lives of the people. News coming in is that so far one firefighter, 37 years old, has passed away as she was trying to save the lives of these people. The president of China, Xi Jinping, did release a statement and a condolence message to the people of Hong Kong in regards to this particular sad accident and event that's taking place right now, and has taken place already, but still continues on. But my name is Julie F. Nantaba, and I am with Joan Murunji alongside Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, Julie, and good morning, Robert. And to our viewers, good morning. Now Thursday is a gentle nod to the memories we carry and the roads we have traveled. So if you've been here for some time, please don't feel ashamed about yourself. Because I'm really aged, because it's just a throwback Thursday. But yesterday, Julie, right, the Mwangato court, there was a ruling by Grade 2 Magistrate Adam Biamukama, and he sentenced over 8 people to 2 years sentence in Luzira prison, and this was over the PLA scandal, cheating of exams, yes. And the 21 yes, were remanded until next month. But UNEB officials expressed disappointment for these people who were entrusted to safeguard the integrity of the Uganda National Examinations Board, which they did not fulfill.
Sad indeed, but at least I hope they act as lessons for those who are always involved in such conundrums of life. Integrity is key, should be key. It should be a human, individual value for everyone. Unfortunately, it's rarely found. Robert, good morning.
Good morning to you, Julie. Now, I'll move in with that story. Now, some pleaded guilty. So there were 30 in number, but some pleaded guilty, and court required them to pay 3 million each or serve 2 years imprisonment. So if they can find 3 million each, then they'll be able to get themselves off the hook. And remember, these people received these exams from UNEB, and they just cut them, took pictures, and then later try to seal.
And imagine district officers.
Yes,
education
one was the whole
officers.
district. Now, you know, sometimes integrity and money don't speak the same language.
Okay.
They don't speak the same language. And
Yes, they
this
can.
all goes back to the way we've made education very commercial and very competitive. That, Joan, if my students pass very well, that will mean I'll have more children next year, more pupils next year. So school owners, because it's now a business, you know, I need more children, I make more money, schools are surviving on loans. So what is happening is school owners will do anything within their reach to ensure that their children pass very well. Because don't believe that these teachers, these district education officers had their pupils, that they were cheating for their pupils, or sons and daughters, but they knew that there is money.
Okay.
You have a school, I cheat for you, your children pass, there is money. And I was speaking to some person who told me, Robert, cheating or reading exams and you find a way and the school gets the right paper in the right time, does not go below 5 million.
Really? What about the lenient sentence that the magistrate gave to them for not wasting court's time? Do you think 2 years or 3 million in cash is something so lenient according to the grave crime they committed?
Well, I think if you ask me, for not wasting the court's time, 2 years is fair enough, because life in itself in prison is hard. I've had interactions with those who have tasted life in prison. Days, months alone, it's now imagine 2 years. 2 years of all your time wasted, valuable time that should have been productive on your end and in your life. And of course, you think about also their release thereafter when they're out. What happens? How is society welcoming them back? So I think it's...
Well, to me, 2 years is not enough time. Let's be very honest. You
For
know,
someone who has been remorseful.
even if that person has been remorseful and not wasted court's time, one evidence was already there, though you have wasted court's time. But what we must note and understand clearly here is we need to set precedent. If a child, they reached exams for that child, P7, then they go senior 4, they go senior 6. These are the, thank God I didn't use that word. These are the doctors, the engineers, that buildings are collapsing and killing people. Because all their life now, when even this person goes to work, he's going to be cheating through the process.
So that's true, but I think from the time they know that there's jail and we see that sentences are being handed over,
they're not deterrent enough.
So do you think there could be more tighter security for national assessments?
Because when you look at what the UNEB law says, the exam something law,
malpractice.
What it describes is not closer to here. The amount of money you're supposed to pay, or the sentence, I think the sentence does not go below 20 years and all this. So for me, I believe, yes, they did waste court's time, but at least if they were required to pay about 10 million, which would mean that they would fail and then serve a sentence of at least a minimum of 7 years imprisonment, any other person would fear. But now someone will say, plead, if you're at the mercy of that judge, then you plead innocent, you plead guilty.
The school will even help you pay for that.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, without further ado, let's look at what we have on the local scene, Robert.
Well, the Electoral Commission has set Thursday, the 27th, and Friday, 28th of November as nomination days for aspirants seeking to fill vacant positions previously held by deceased candidates. The exercise will take place at the respective district offices. The demarcation of local government electoral areas and the reorganization of polling stations ahead of the 2026 general election has been completed. Elections will run from the 15th of January to 6th of February, starting with presidential and parliamentary polls. The Commission has contracted 4 international and 2 local firms to print ballot papers for all elective positions. Technology will be heavily utilized in the 2026 polls. The Commission has procured 109,142 biometric voter verification kits, and 60,000 have already been received, and 49,000 more are expected by the end of November. The Electoral Commission will issue voter location slips nationwide to guide voters to their respective polling stations. The Commission is handling 300 petitions and complaints arising from the nomination exercise for local government and parliamentary position. Thousands of supporters of the National Resistance Movement gathered at the Reyre playground in Kirima Sub-County, Kanungu District to welcome and listen to the party manifesto presented by the presidential candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. During his campaign address, President Museveni introduced a new loan scheme designed to assist large-scale farmers, particularly those cultivating tea, coffee and cocoa, with the objective of enhancing agricultural productivity. Museveni highlighted 7 of his significant contributions during his previous term in office, with the primary achievement being the establishment of peace and stability, which has facilitated development in Kanungu. Earlier, the president inaugurated the extension of a national backbone infrastructure to the Kigezi sub-region in Kanungu, with the goal of reducing internet costs and enhancing speed. This project, undertaken by the National Information Technology Authority Uganda, NITA-U, and the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, involves Phase 5 of the national backbone infrastructure for internet connectivity, extending fiber connections to Kanungu District. The Phase 5 extension of the national backbone infrastructure to Kanungu District represents a total of 1,500 kilometers of fiber for internet connectivity across various districts since the launch of Phase 5 last December. The district leaders expressed their appreciation to President Museveni for his effort in maintaining peace and security, improving and paving the road connecting Kanungu to Rukungiri, and implementing wealth creation programs. However, they emphasized the need for further development of tourism roads to boost the economy. Former Prime Minister John Patrick Amama Mbabazi endorsed President Museveni for the presidency and encouraged the people of Kanungu to support a proven and trustworthy leader like Museveni. The National Unity Platform presidential candidate, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, called on Ugandans to embrace unity beyond religion and ethnicity, saying the national flag should serve as an example of togetherness. While campaigning in Ibuikwe district, Kyagulanyi also promised to restore fishermen's access to the lake and ensure that sugarcane farmers receive fair returns from their harvest. The Forum for Democratic Change Party presidential candidate Nathan Nandala Mafabi expressed the need to establish a pineapple factory in Luwero for the farmers to get market. While conducting his campaign rally in Kichusa Town Council, Luwero District, residents complained about low prices of pineapples and the dusty road with potholes, which make it difficult for them to transport their commodities. Residents of Kichusa Town Council, Luwero District, expressed their grievances like lack of compensation for the people they lost during the liberation war in Luwero. Some have raised challenges such as high tax on commodities, poor education quality in UPE and USE schools, plus lack of market for their pineapples. And finally, from the local scene, a total of 30 suspects have appeared before the Chief Magistrate's Court in Mengo, charged with aiding and abetting examination malpractices during the concluded primary leaving examinations. The suspects include one district inspector of schools, one owner of a school from Kasanda district, 5 head teachers and 23 teachers from different schools in Kampala, Wakiso, Kasanda, Mubende, Mokono, Masaka, Luwero and Mityana district. The suspects allegedly cut UNEB examination materials that had been delivered to the examination centers after they took pictures and shared on WhatsApp groups. The suspects that pleaded guilty were sentenced to pay 3 million shillings or serve 2 years imprisonment. And those that did not plead guilty will again appear to court on the 10th of December this year. Well, that brings us to the end of our local stories. Now, Joanne will take us through what the rest of the world has for us.
Exactly, and the report from the World News from Donald Trump, United States War Secretary Peter Hagist said on Wednesday that President Donald Trump ordered 500 extra guardsmen to be sent to the Capitol following the shooting of 2 National Guard troops near the White House. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand, Hegseth said. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him, he added. The shooting near the White House at 17th and I Street NW on 26 November 2025 left 2 guardsmen from the West Virginia National Guard critically wounded. The suspect, described by the police as a lone gunman who launched an ambush against the guardsmen, was taken into custody, though the motive remains unclear. Initial reports suggest they might have died, but West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey said officials had received conflicting information. At the time of the publication, both remained in separate hospitals in critical condition. And moving on, Pope Leo begins his first trip outside Italy as Catholic leader on Thursday today with a visit to Turkey, where he's expected to make appeals for peace in the Middle East and urge unity among long-divided Christian churches. The first U.S. Pope chose mainly Muslim Turkey as his first overseas destination to mark the 1,700th anniversary of a landmark early church council there that produced the Nicene Creed, still used by most of the world's Christians today. Leo, who has a crowded 3-day itinerary in Turkey before heading on to Lebanon, will be closely watched as he makes his first speeches overseas and visits sensitive cultural sites. It's a very important trip because we do not know much yet about Leo's geopolitical views, and this is the first big chance for him to make them clear. Massimo Fagioli, an Italian academic who follows the Vatican, told Reuters, foreign travel has become a major part of the modern papacy, with popes attracting international attention as they lead events with crowds, sometimes in the millions, give foreign policy, speeches, and conduct international diplomacy. And then coming back to the mother of nature, which is the continent of Africa, spokesperson for the High Military Command in Guinea-Bissau, Denis Nchama, declared yesterday that the president has been removed from office and all state institutions are suspended amid an apparent coup. The Military High Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order has just assumed the full powers of state in the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, Nchama announced on state television. The High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order claimed the coup was carried out in response to an alleged plot to destabilize the nation. An operation scheme has been set up by some national politicians with the participation of a well-known drug lord, nationals and foreigners, as well as attempts to manipulate election results in order to put this plan into effect, the spokesman alleged. Nchama noted that the army decided to depose the president until the whole situation is properly clarified and the conditions are restored for a full return to constitutional normality. He further declared the suspension of all state institutions, the electoral process, and the media operations. Additionally, the army will shut the nation's borders and airspace while imposing a nightly curfew from 1900 hours to 0600 hours to remain in effect until the conditions required to restore a constitutional order for the Guinean people are achieved. Now, that was it from our foreign coverage here on GMO.
Thank you very much. Joanne, Guinea-Bissau has a long history of coups.
Yeah.
It's one of those African countries that are really known.
But I think West Africa as a whole.
Wouldn't agree any further. Now, let's have a look at what we have in the dailies. And what we really have today is an update from the New Vision. And the headline there, government to police
That's the headline. Government to police fuel stations. Cabinet approves policy to curb illegal filling stations. And picture there, Museveni promises new fund for large-scale farmers. That is still with the new vision. 2026 elections, list of voter numbers per district, more nominated candidates. Also still in the new vision, Parliament guide 8-page special pullout on the inside of the new vision. And of course, ask the URACG, does URA cater for persons with disabilities? Matters campaigns, presidential candidates rally support countrywide. And the university quiz, UCU Ndeje face off in finals tonight. And an opportunity of tenders, over 230 of them from the likes of Kabale University, Mark Investments, Ibero, ECOP, Total Energies, UNOC, UBOS, UA, Parliamentary Pension Scheme, Movit Products, Bank of Uganda, etc., etc. That's it from what we have in the dailies today. Time for a short break. And with this short break being a Thursday, millennials now relate with this one as a throwback. It's a 10 years back. It's when it was released. And it's a song that was done by Rock City, featured Adam Levine of Maroon 5, and the song is Locked Away, released in 2015. Now, when it comes to the millennials, for them, this is a throwback. To the Gen Zs, it might be a major throwback. Doubt they even know it. But 10 years back, Locked Away was released. Rock City, Adam Levine.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Ever the one actually singing. These documentaries have it that their producer, Frank Farian, was always the one actually singing, and Bobby Farrell was always miming. Quite a shock there. Indeed, when you talk about Frank Farian, it also comes to the group Milli Vanilli that had won Grammys because of their music, until it was proved that they were always miming these songs and not actually singing, because Frank Farian was the one singing in actual sense, and they only mimed and were the face of their brands, just as it was for Bobby Farrell in the Bonnie M. Stories that you'll always discover and shock you from people who have blessed us with lots of music that carries a lot of memories. But welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Uganda, and it's about 20 minutes on to 7 a.m. here in Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania. But we come to you live from Uganda. The show is called Good Morning Uganda, and you're watching UBC TV, coming to you live from Nile Avenue. Now, some of the updates that we do have: Guinea-Bissau president arrested 3 days after elections. Now, that's an update that has a full detail, and Joan will be giving us that detail. But also, on a rather sad note, in Hong Kong, there was a fire outbreak, and reportedly a number of people have passed on, and this fire outbreak is on an estate that has lots of apartments in there, and it's said that it came from bamboo and a lot of foam there, mattress foam. So some of the apartment owners, estate owners, 3 of them have so far been arrested, and the death toll is expected to be rising, but firefighters are doing everything they can to save the lives of the people. News coming in is that so far one firefighter, 37 years old, has passed away as she was trying to save the lives of these people. The president of China, Xi Jinping, did release a statement and a condolence message to the people of Hong Kong in regards to this particular sad accident and event that's taking place right now and has taken place already, but still continues on. But my name is Julie F. Nantaba, and I am with John Murunji alongside Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Julie, and good morning, Robert. And to our viewers, good morning. Now Thursday is a gentle nod to the memories we carry and the roads we have traveled. So if you've been here for some time, please don't feel ashamed about yourself, because I'm really aged, because it's just a throwback Thursday. But yesterday, Julie, at the Mwangato court, there was a ruling by Grade 2 Magistrate Adam Biamukama, and he sentenced over 8 people to 2 years sentence in Luzira prison, and this was over the PLA scandal, cheating of exams, yes. And the 21 yes were remanded until next month. But UNEB officials expressed disappointment for these people who were entrusted to safeguard the integrity of the Uganda National Examinations Board, which they did not fulfill.
Sad indeed, but at least I hope they act as lessons for those who are always involved in such conundrums of life. Integrity is key, should be key. It should be a human, individual value for everyone. Unfortunately, it's rarely found. Robert, good morning.
Good morning to you, Julie. Now, I'll move in with that story. Now, some pleaded guilty. So there were 30 in number, but some pleaded guilty, and court required them to pay 3 million each or serve 2 years imprisonment. So if they can find 3 million each, then they will be able to get themselves off the hook. And remember, these people received these exams from UNEB, and they just cut them, took pictures, and then later tried to seal.
And imagine district officers.
Yes, one was the whole district. Now, you know, sometimes integrity and money don't speak the same language.
Okay.
They don't speak the same language. And this all goes back to the way we've made education very commercial and very competitive. That, Joan, if my students pass very well, that will mean I'll have more children next year, more pupils next year. So school owners, because it's now a business, you know, I need more children, I make more money, schools are surviving on loans. So what is happening is school owners will do anything within their reach to ensure that their children pass very well. Because don't believe that these teachers, these district education officers had their pupils, that they were cheating for their pupils, or sons and daughters, but they knew that there is money.
Okay.
You have a school, I cheat for you, your children pass, there is money. And I was speaking to some person who told me, Robert, cheating or rigging exams, and you find a way and the school gets the right paper in the right time, does not go below 5 million.
Really? What about the lenient sentence that the magistrate gave to them for not wasting court's time? Do you think 2 years or 3 million in cash is something so lenient according to the grave crime they committed?
Well, I think if you ask me, for not wasting the court's time, 2 years is fair enough, because life in itself in prison is hard. I've had interactions with those who have tasted life in prison. Days, months alone, it's now imagine 2 years. 2 years of all your time wasted, valuable time that should have been productive on your end and in your life. And of course, you think about also their release thereafter when they're out. What happens? How is society welcoming them back? So I think it's...
Well, to me, 2 years is not enough time. Let's be very honest. You know,
someone who has been remorseful.
Even if that person has been remorseful and not wasted court's time, one evidence was already there, though you have wasted court's time. But what we must note and understand clearly here is we need to set precedent. If a child, they reached exams for that child, P7, then they go senior 4, they go senior 6. These are the thank God I didn't use that word. These are the doctors, the engineers, that buildings are collapsing and killing people. Because all their life now, when even this person goes to work, he's going to be cheating through the process.
So that's true, but I think from the time they know that there's jail and we see that sentences are being handed over.
They're not deterrent enough.
So do you think there could be more tighter security for national assessments?
Because when you look at what the UNEB law says, the exam something law,
malpractice,
what it describes is not closer to here. The amount of money you're supposed to pay, or the sentence, I think the sentence does not go below 20 years and all this. So for me, I believe, yes, they did waste.
800-335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Thank you for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the newsreel this morning, where we're discussing something very, very important. It is a global talk, and that is issues regarding climate change. Now, today we are looking at youth innovation for climate change innovations. Now, for climate change action. There is so much happening globally, but we are looking at those innovations by the youth to curb challenges that are being posed to us by the environment. And I have two interesting young people. Now with me, I have Isaac Ndiamuhaki, who happens to be the country lead, Green Africa Youth Organization. Good morning.
Good morning.
And at the extreme end, I have, I hope I pronounced this name right, Kontimin Kenfak.
Yeah.
So he happens to be the founder of a climate change organization known as 3Es for Africa. Now what these do, well, I have them here, and I'm happy that they are youth, and we are discussing innovation that will help us adopt or mitigate the impact of climate change. Now I'll begin with Kenfaki. When we talk about Africa Climate Change Innovation Challenge, which is the thing that is being discussed today, please give us a background. What is this all about, and how does your organization come in here?
Thank you very much. So the ACIC, which is the African Climate Innovation Challenge, it's an initiative or a competition or program, you would say, which was launched and currently being implemented by three key stakeholders. GAIO, Green African Youth Organization, my organization 3Es for Africa, and Startup Launch Africa. I mean, at the end of the day, the main objective of the ACIC is to ensure that we can equip or provide the young people, young Africans, with the tools and with the entrepreneurship skills and knowledge that they need to be able to build and to be able to grow their own climate solutions on the African continent. So maybe to give you a little bit of numbers, over the last couple of years, we've had on average between 500 to 700 applications so far. And we've also been able to select a good number of high-quality startups into the cohorts of the ACIC every year. And as time goes on, they get virtual training online from experts from different fields, and then they get to come to the final pitch event, which is why we are here in Uganda today, where we're going to have the final pitch event for them to pitch and potentially win a prize money in front of a jury.
Now, that is very interesting. So these youth compete.
Yes, they compete against one another. Very important.
Yes, to come up with innovations.
Yeah, innovative climate solutions.
Innovative climate solutions. Now, Isaac, you've worked with these youth for quite a long time. How has it been, and what is that exciting innovation or initiative that we have now?
Well, thank you so much, and happy to be here, our viewers. So, looking at what the youth are doing in the context of solving the climate change problem is quite amazing. The youth are taking lead in very, very important and key sectors to transform economies, innovations in energy, having sustainable energy, innovations in climate smart agriculture, innovations targeting that we should transform the way we even construct, because we have entrepreneurs who have ideas on how to do even sustainable construction. So looking at the youth in this way, we have quite a number of impacts made, and the impacts span across socio-economic aspects, where they are solving a social problem while also making some money out of it, and also creating so many jobs, and in this context we call them green jobs. So the young people are taking charge and taking lead to see that there is a lot they can bring to table when it comes to acting on climate change, but in the business perspective.
Now, Kenfake, this brings me back to you. When you look at this year's theme, it places youth at a central or a pivotal point in finding climate solutions. Now, why do you think that the youth are very important in the climate change action movement? Why would we focus on youth so much?
I mean, if you look at the dynamics surrounding the climate change, the climate crisis in general, you realize that the youth are at the forefront of the climate crisis. So oftentimes they are the first people affected, but we've also made the experience that they are usually the first people that are very resilient and quick to find innovative solutions to the challenges that they face on a daily basis. So that's why it's really important to make sure that they get a voice, but also to make sure that they get the support and the funding that they need to be able to build and grow the different climate solutions that they have. So, and that's essentially where the ACIC kind of steps in, to make sure that they have all the support that they need and that they're able to kind of like create adequate solutions to address the climate crisis.
Isaac, your organization has supported quite a number of youth to innovate and come up with solutions, climate solutions. Could you share with us some of the success stories that also that have been raised through this platform of Africa Action for Climate Change Impact?
Yes, we have quite a number of them, and locally we have a youth enterprise called Asili Kwanza Uganda. It is transforming renewable energy and post-harvest handling of agricultural products here, and in this they are bringing clean cooking solutions. They are building solar dryers for post-harvest handling of agricultural products. Now, going across to other countries, of course, I'm speaking in the context of the African Climate Innovation Challenge and how it has transformed the way youth are piloting and scaling up their climate innovations. If you go across Ghana, we have entrepreneurs that are working in sustainable construction, entrepreneurs that are, harnessing wind power to generate energy, and this continues across to Nigeria, where we have other entrepreneurs that are also doing work around clean cooking and also carbon market projects, which are quite vital when we come to these discussions. And of course, we call upon any other young person, of course, to take charge and take the lead when it comes to climate change. Of course, we look at climate change as a problem, but to an entrepreneur, it is actually an opportunity to take the lead and also cause the change that they are ought to cause. Yes.
Now, that said, I come back to Kenfak here. Now, when we talk about innovation, mostly in climate change, there are a lot of challenges, one of them being funding, because with innovation you need money, you need to invest something. Sometimes it's try and fail, you succeed, you may not. So it's quite, and the youth may not have that money. How has ACIC been of help to these young people?
Yeah, I mean, one of the funding, as you mentioned, is really a big problem for young entrepreneurs, especially in the climate space. We've also, however, realized that oftentimes one important problem is also making sure that you have the mentorship, right? Building a startup and knowing how to plan and to grow your startup, it requires you need to have the resource, the knowledge. So we've realized that sometimes having access to this knowledge and resources can even make a bigger impact than the funding itself. So which is why we've built the ACIC in a way that we do have the selected startups have the chance to engage with experts where they get to learn a lot in terms of how to do fundraising, you know, what to pay attention to on how to see the climate change as an opportunity, so to speak, for the local communities. So we have all these topics that the different startups get to benefit from. But at the end of the day, we of course still do have the funding, which is also very important. Maybe another important point is the visibility as well. Right, at the end of the day, we want to show that African youth has the ideas and has the resources to be able to create climate solutions on its own, right? Of course, with the support of all the stakeholders and the other partners. So I think these are the things that the ACIC is doing to incorporate to make sure that the startups have access to all these different resources.
Now, Isaac, 2025, what are the areas that ACI is going to be focusing on?
Yeah, so 2025, ACIC is really balanced across different sectors of economies. And of course, this was a bit intentional to see that there is a good representation and showcase of what young people can really bring on board. So we have entrepreneurs looking at sustainable fashion. We have entrepreneurs looking at waste management. We have entrepreneurs looking at sustainable energy, and also quite many having ideas and innovations in sustainable agriculture. So you notice climate change is so much centered across those sectors that I just mentioned, and that's how 2025 ACIC is looking at. So this is a kind of balanced approach to showcase and bring to light that these are some of the things that have to be done or have to be focused on.
Now I quickly go to Ken Fak here. Now, looking at 2026, for a young person, an innovator, that they have an idea, and how do they get into this? How do they apply? What is the criteria?
So, first of all, you need to follow GAIO. You need to follow 3Es for Africa, and then you need to follow Startup Launch Africa, because these are the
How does one follow
partners.
these organizations?
You go to Instagram, you go to X, you go to LinkedIn.
And follow, please be more audible when what you need to follow.
Yeah, so the three implementers, right, the three key partners for the ACIC. We have Green African Youth Organization, that's GAIO. We have 3Es for Africa as well, and then we have Startup Launch Africa. So you need to go to the different platforms, be it on LinkedIn, be it on Instagram, be it on X, follow them, so that once we launch, we open the applications for 2026 ACIC, you can apply. Another thing that's important is you mentioned the criteria. Number one, it's an innovation challenge, right? So we need to make sure that the people or the participants that are contributing or that are taking part in the competition have innovative projects. How innovative is your project or your startup compared to the others? Again, it's very competitive. This year we had 700 applications from 40 African countries. Right? So we need to make sure that we push and that we support like the most innovative projects. Number two, take the time to really fill out your application properly, right? Because only the applications that are filled properly get as much consideration compared to the others. That's very important. Also, how is your project or your solution relevant for the community? The impact is very important. That's a very important point. And then last but not least, the traction. What have you accomplished so far? What are your plans moving forward? I think anyone that takes into consideration all these different aspects has a very high chance of being part of the ACIC in 2026.
Now, this brings me to ask still, the future of this. We're going to talk about ACIC. What does the future looking through? Yes.
So we really want to have solutions or climate solutions that are diverse and that are very representative of the African continent, right? The continent is very diverse in many different levels, so we want to make sure that all of these different communities that make up the continent are represented. We definitely want to have a larger reach, right? Like I mentioned, we had the 700 applications from 40 African countries. We want to have a much higher reach. We want to be able to reach more African countries. We are very happy that this year we were able to have a good representation from French-speaking African countries, from North African countries. One of the finalists that is here in Uganda for the pitch is from Morocco, for example, right? So we want to make sure that we're able to have more reach within these different communities. Another point is we want to go bigger. We want to be able to support the entrepreneurs even more. And for that, we have to go back to our funders, we have to go back to our sponsors and supporters and say, all hands on deck, right? Give us even more support so that we can have more impact and support even more climate solutions. So that's where we're heading at.
Isaac, the pitch. What is this? What is this event?
So this event is really a diverse one. It is actually way beyond the innovations. It is way beyond the pitching. We are digging deep, even up to culture, our African heritage and culture. So and also we are looking at diversity. We want extremely great representation by everyone, from government, from private sector, from even the innovation hubs, and even the academia. They're going to be there. The people with disabilities, they're also going to be represented. Okay, it is a way diverse event, and me, I'm really so much excited that it's going to happen. We are happy and proud as Uganda to host such a continental event here in Kampala. We are really looking forward to even have more. So when it is going to be on the 29th of November 2025 here in Kampala at Hotel Africana. It will start exactly at 9 sharp and to end at 2 p.m. It's a half-day event, and it's going to be well organized, having a cultural troupe, you know. Just it's a lot. I can't do. I can't.
I see Kenfak wants to supplement, throw in more light.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more that I can add to what Isaac mentioned. I think we're going to have a very good representation of stakeholders all around the board, right? We're going to have some people that are really judges, our judges, for example, really experts in the climate space. We're going to have young people, youth representatives. So it's going to be a very dynamic event. We're also going to have some panel discussions touching on some of the points that we mentioned today. It's going to be very vibrant and dynamic. So I'm looking forward to it.
Now, as we try to bring this to an end, what is your parting shot to a young man out there, a young woman out there regarding climate change, and of course an opportunity like this where you can compete, and if your idea comes out as the best, there's so much that you stand to benefit?
I think I would say, I mean, if you are in Uganda, get closer to the organizations that are very active in the climate space in Uganda, for example, GAIU, right? If you have a climate idea, sometimes you need to do some research to make sure that it's a proven idea, right? For that, we can support through East for Africa. We can provide you support for that research phase. And I would say at the end of the day, just keep working on your idea, because when you start working, it gets easier as you go on, and it's easier for you to get support. So that would be my advice, I would say.
Thank you so much. And Isaac, finally.
Yeah, thank you so much once again. And my advice and parting shots, there are two. And one is that I want to empower youth to see that they can always show up. Showing up is very, very important, because we even have a saying in Uganda, like that atari otagwirwa muti. And in Ruchiga, which is my culture, it says otari otagwirwa muti.
More or less the same.
Yes, more or less the same, meaning show up at any given opportunity and make sure that you pursue it. And then another parting shot is that I implore every young person that you are the one that everyone is waiting for to tackle the biggest challenges that we have at the moment, and climate change is one of them. So please take the lead and take charge, because the future belongs to us. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure having young men who are very passionate about climate change, and this is the climate change innovation. And of course, here they compete. If you become the winner, well, your idea, if it emerges the best, then of course you're supported to develop it. But also there's something that comes along with that. We hope to see a number of youth there. I can't wait to see who emerges the final winner and how that is going to transform climate change. We are all worried. We don't know what tomorrow holds for us when it comes to climate change. I'll let my guests go, and of course we have so much coming your way. We have business, we have tourism, express, and of course the agenda. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Peak of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years. Out of the blue,
the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Hey, what's up Uganda, what's up Kampala, what's up East Africa, what's up Africa? This is your boy Patrick Salvador, the man from Mbokolo, and right now I am at the wild waters right here in the beautiful district of Jinja. We are enjoying the 10th anniversary of Nyege Nyege Festival. Listen, this new venue, this new location is top notch. This is what I call an experience. I have walked, I have seen different sites, different locations, different avenues where we can go and have fun. This is what I call a festival. Beautiful, different cultures. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I am so excited. Special thanks to Talent Africa and of course the Nyege Nyege organizers, and of course Explore Uganda, the Ministry of Tourism, Uganda Tourism Board. This is different. I was on my way here. I managed to interact with a couple of locals. There's a guy who had an open piece of land. He was doing nothing basically, and he turned it into a parking yard. And this guy is earning about 300,000 shillings every day. So for the 4 days, he's going to earn 1.2 million Ugandan shillings. And now this is the impact of having such a festival in such an area, because not only do we get to enjoy, but the locals get to benefit as well. So I must say, whoever thought about this location, whoever found this location, definitely Uganda has so many locations. Uganda is beautiful. We are gifted by nature. But this one, I must say, I'm so happy. I have walked like 5 kilometers. I've lost 2 kilograms in 1 day. We should have Nyege Nyege every year, every month, every week. Then I will lose weight properly. But I'm super, super excited, and I wish everybody at the festival the best. Enjoy your stay right here in the beautiful country of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Hello, how are you? I'm presenting Tofa Bar and Restaurant in Bukoto in Nyege Nyege music program. This program I'm attending last 5 years with the Asian food, different food like tandoori chicken, chicken lollipop, jeera rice, butter chicken, mutton rogan josh, butter naan, masala chips, vegetable fried noodles, all those things. And I have a very good experience for the last 5 years about the Ugandans, locals. Local people really love our Asian food. That's why Nyege Nyege team last 5 years calling me, please you can come and presenting Asian food, because all our people are waiting for your food. And thank you so much. African people loving our food, and too much love you giving me to my company. Thank you so much. It's a 90% African. 90% African. 90% African people, and balance come some whites, some brown Indians, some Chinese, some Filipino. It's come like that. But 80% is Ugandans. If you check around 7:30 to 8, it will be a line for the African people, only Asian foods. Yeah. African food has not too much varieties. Yeah, very limited varieties. And Asian food, like one chicken, I can prepare more than 60-70 items. But the African food, what I know, maybe stew, barbecue, how to another one called make is the banana leaves, lumumbo, around some few items. But Asian food, like a goat meat, you can make very varieties of the goat meat. Chicken, very many. Fish, very many.
We are at Drift. My name is Catherine. I'm Mbabazi, the sales representative at Drift Uganda, and we are the hosts of this year's 10th anniversary of Nyege Nyege. And as the host, I would say it has been quite an incredible experience. We have received so many great reviews from the revealers that came for Nyege Nyege. It has been quite a good experience from the different pointers. The security has been top notch. Everything has been great. And speaking from day 3 and the final day, I can definitely say that it has been a very unique, different experience. Why I say that, I would say that Adrift is the home of adventure. So we have bungee jumping on site, we have whitewater rafting, we have adrenaline-filled activities for you to partake in, and we are equally as well sustainable. We are a zero plastic policy. We have a zero plastic policy in all our properties, so we had to emphasize this to the Nyege Nyege organizers. And for the first time in Nyege Nyege, you have received a plastic cup with your drinks, and that is in a way to celebrate sustainability, to make sure that we are eco-friendly, leaving the environment better than we found it. And on behalf of the community of Kalagala, Kasambia, Kangulumrata and Council, it has been a great eye-opener for the people here. It has created jobs, it has created hype, it has created opportunities for the communities to make some money in terms of selling money, in terms of selling food, their produce, offering their houses up for rent, in terms of accommodation. So I can definitely say from us to you, it has been such a credible experience. We look forward to hosting you, hopefully for the next couple of years. And yeah, it has been quite...
I'm Superintendent of Police, Helen Mutoto, the Sezibwa Regional Police spokesperson. Right now, at the moment, we, as the police, plus other security agencies, like the army, we are providing security to the Nyege Nyege festival that is underway right now. Security has been beefed up. There are different departments in the police, the city, fire, FFU, even the medics, plus the canine, to mention but a few, inclusive of the marine. However, the event is going on very smoothly. The tourists are enjoying Uganda and also the Nyege Nyege event. We have not registered any serious incidents apart from the drowning that we had yesterday of our own city personnel who drowned here in Kalagala Falls. However, his body has been recovered, and it has been taken to city mortuary for post-mortem. So we want to assure all the tourists who are coming, who are still coming in, and those who are already here at the venue with us, that the security is tight. They shouldn't worry of any threat. As the police and other security agencies, we are around to make sure that the Ugandans and all the tourists who are still coming in and those who are around, that security is really tight.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. Welcome to your business report. But first, welcome back from the high points of the Nyege Nyege festival from with Tourism Express, proudly and enthusiastically supported by Uganda Tourism Board. Now, fish farming in Uganda is a rapidly developing sector that currently contributes 22% of the nation's output. We have a report of the developments in this sector. But first, let's look into the oil and gas industry. And Uganda's rapidly growing economy, it continues to present economy across multiple sectors, and the key among them is the petroleum industry. According to Carol Chen, Vivo Energy Senior Vice President for Global Marketing and Licensed Markets, petroleum remains a critical driver of the global economy, and Uganda's market stands out for its steady expansion. Chen made the remarks during the unveiling of the 195th Shell fuel station in Uganda, located along Mawanda Road in Kampala. Let's have a look at this launch.
The Energy Group is investing massively in Africa, hundreds of millions of dollars every year for the last 10 years, and we continue to do so, and we have the plan to continue to do so. But there are some contexts, some countries where we are pushing more investments, and Uganda is one of them. So we are happy to continue to open 10 stations a year. This is happening today. I think there will be another one pretty soon, probably next month.
So I have to thank the government of Uganda for creating an environment that allows us to continue to invest and grow in Uganda. Because we know very well without that environment, it would be very difficult to invest in this country. So for ensuring that we continue to grow and to invest and to have meaningful engagement as investors in this country. Thank you. Shell Mawanda Road brings us to 195 stations in Uganda. We hope to close, I think, at about 200 stations by the end of the year. So definitely continue to grow. And as we grow, we leave to our purpose of making sure that our motorists and their journeys become a better experience, not only for their cars, but also for the motorists themselves.
Grasshoppers or Nsenene or Isanane have arrived in Kisoro district, bringing renewed activity, quick earnings and the familiar November buzz. For weeks, trappers in Kisoro municipality have worked through coordinates, preparing iron sheets and setting up rigs as they waited for the seasonal delicacy many consider a timely end of the year staple. Let's have a look.
ariko abantu banezerewe cyane yuko isana ziri kugwa kuguze kugwa bakagurisha bakabona agasente ariko
in Uganda's district of Gisoro Southwest, November or Musenene is a major period for harvesting Nsenene. This year, Gisoro's grasshoppers delayed slightly, creating tension among trappers before finally appearing in large numbers this week. Experienced trappers camped at their sites waiting for the post-midnight rise. Their tools remain standard: angled iron sheets, bright lights, and a regulated fire to attract the insects. As the swarms arrived, residents moved quickly to trap, buy, and prepare the insects, even as prices climbed, prompting the unusual complaints. Veteran trapper Dusenge Ivan described the scene as rows of iron sheets lit up by strong beams and fire leading the insects towards the collection point.
agwaga buhoro mbere ho zagwaga nyinshi ariko mu zarengeje kugwaho cyane abantu bagiye kubona gasente kusana zo bari kugurisha ariko cyo ndi gusaba abaturage n'abandi bantu bose bari kwatsanani kugira ngo urabona gasente kavugirira kamaro.
On a good night, he collects up to 20 sacks, sold at 100,000 to 105,000 shillings. He notes, however, that this year's swarms seem smaller and are accompanied by tiny insects that cause skin irritation. Dealer Nizaimana Alex thanks UEDCL for steady power supply, saying stable lighting is key to a successful harvest.
konga IDCL ituhaye ubusinge bwo gukora dufite umutuze.
LC1 chairperson Munenzero Sam called for improved security as nighttime crowds grow from about 2,000 to over 2,500 people.
Security kugira ngo abantu bari gufata isana baba bari safe kandi ikindi cya kandi bano bari gufata isana ni government nitwa abantu none bano bari gufata isana ni bagezeho kuguma barafuhirira amago gegereye aho bari gufata izo sana ni kugira ngo ubusimba burusheho kutarya abantu.
He urged residents to save their income, maintain cleanliness at trapping grounds.
Ubaye kumanya sana ni uzimanye ga yamababa ugezeho ugajane mu mwanya gwakwiriye kujamo atari kugira ngo usige itabuni rikurebeka nabi ariko kandi mongera gashimira abaturage ba Kisorohiru ubu isuku byari yongeye.
Musenene remains a major period for this traditional delicacy, supporting households, business activity and Kisoro's nighttime economy. Mutonyi Hilda and Atuzari Kate, UBC.
Okay, forging forward in the fish farming sector, Lake Mulehe in Nyundo and Nyakabande sub-county, Kisoro district, has received 1.4 million tilapia fingerlings as part of a district-wide restocking exercise, totaling to 3.9 million fingerlings across Kisoro's lakes. The exercise is under the World Bank-supported Uganda Climate Smart Agriculture Transformation Project implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. Here is the report.
The Uganda Climate Smart Agriculture Transformation Project is restoring fish stocks in Lake Mulehe, in Buchimbiri, and Lake Chahafi in Nyakabande. Both lakes have struggled with depleted stocks due to overfishing and their isolation from major river systems. During a 3-day restocking exercise, Lake Mulehe received 1.4 million, 1.18 million and 277,350 fingerlings across landing sites in Nyundo, Nyakalembe and neighboring areas. Another 2.4 million fingerlings were released into Lake Chahafi. Lake Mutanda has not been addressed in this phase.
Fingerlings
The intervention comes with a 1-year fishing ban to allow the fish to grow. Deputy Project Coordinator Alex Asimwe asked the district and local leaders to mobilize communities to comply with the ban. Remain patient, noting that once the ban lifts, the project will provide standard nets, safer boats, and improved fishing gear to support sustainable practices. Asime added that the Uganda Climate Smart Agriculture Transformation Project will work with RDC's office to strengthen enforcement against illegal fishing.
tukamufasha kandi kaduha n'abasirikare badufasha batazabaho kwishingira umuntu bazamusi bameze nka 12 bisama keza bazimaje gukora.
Assistant Fisheries Officer Bariaruha Agustin warned that harmful farming practices and pollution continues to threaten fishing breeding areas. He called for stronger action against illegal fishing equipment and methods.
Now tugiye gufirwa billions kubw'umuntu z'amategeko ngo ntabwo afite kuyinga mu bafazo.
Assistant RDC Ninzeimana John assured residents that the new fish stock will be protected and that once mature it will boost employment and household income.
Tuzakugezaho kugira ngo twabikuma kandi byaje kubyatuyamba na munonga abantu bayikenene nyanja.
LC1 chairpersons from Musenzero and Mbonga villages welcomed the restocking, noting that Lake Mulehe had seen a drastic decline in fish. They pledged to work with security teams to curb illegal fishing.
Uzafatwa azahanu hari umurobyi hari n'umushushi.
Izi wetland zirimo abandi barazisizeho twese kibi kintu kimwe wetland zongeze ko kizigarukeho kugira ziturindire iki uyu mwanya w'itora y'amazi.
Traditionally, Kisoro's lakes, Molehe, Chahafi, and Mutanda depend largely on hardy fish because they are disconnected from river systems. The new tilapia stock is expected to improve future fish yields. Mutonyi Hilda and Atuzari Kate, UBC.
Incredible boost to the fish farming sector here in Uganda. Yes, sir, let's move on to the forex rates from Bank of Uganda as they stood on 26th November 2025. And commencing with the US dollar, the bought at 3,620.59 and sold at 3,630.59. By midday, the dollar bought at 3,620.09 and sold at 3,630.09. And it closed in off at the buying rate of 3,620.00. The Great British Pound bought at 4,774.78 and sold at 4,787.97, while the Euro bought at 4,195.76 and sold at 4,207.35. And from the neighbors, the Kenyan shilling bought in at 27.89 and sold at 27.97. The Tanzanian shilling bought at 1.46 and sold at 1.47, while the South African rand bought at 210.76 and sold at 211.43. Now, for you, our small business owners, a takeaway for you, a small business is not about the owner, but it is about the value it brings to the community around it. That was the report from our corporate news. Coming up is the agenda with Julie. My name is Joanne N. Moronji. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years. Out of the room,
the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens common when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800-335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The government's core mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project that answers somebody's question.
The Front Bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
When you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers, you bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport. If you have a Ugandan who has a means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Our program of poverty eradication is a must. We want everybody to be involved.
Through the parish development model, Ugandans are starting small but impactful projects to improve their livelihoods.
When we give 1 million, we know it's not enough to do many things, but it's a starting point.
I'm a PDM beneficiary, a farmer. Your Excellency, I was given 1 million Uganda shillings from Kobil Kawo PDM Sako. Your Excellency, I got 20 bunches from my small piece of land, sold, got 400,000, put in the PDM farm, Your Excellency, the PDM money, Your Excellency, I bought a cow of 1,400,000.
In 1 year, 100 families in the parish will get. In 5 years, 500 families would have got.
We were the first people to receive money from Nakapriprit. I received $1 million. I rented 4 acres of land, and I was able to harvest 14 bags.
So really this 1 million is enabling somebody to start something. Yes, and we don't want to give too much money to one person because we have got very many people to cover.
The parish development model empowers the people, focusing on lifting up the masses and creating opportunities that ensure prosperity for all. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. It's time for the agenda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number for you to engage, save and engage to be part of the conversation. Now, today's agenda is rather unique because we are talking about a day that is commemorated every year. And that is the World AIDS Day, which is to happen on Monday, will be 1st December. Now, the theme this year is overcoming disruption, transforming the AIDS response. And a UN report was released about two days back regarding this year's World AIDS Day, and of course, focusing on the main issue, that is the funding crisis. Some of the nuggets and pointers that were looked at was a global system that was sent into shockwaves because of the funding crisis, and of course mounting human rights concerns, and then resilience and innovation offering hope in there, and of course a call to action. With about 40.8 million people that are living with HIV worldwide, 1.3 million new infections occurred in 2024 worldwide, and 9.2 million people are still not accessing treatment. These are some of the facts that come through with that report. Now, I'm having this conversation, not of course on my own. I'm having it with you and alongside Robert Chirabon Nyonyintono and Joan Murunji. So save that number, 0709602592. I will start with Robert, given that he has covered this topic for a long time and he has garnered a plethora of knowledge in regards to the AIDS conversation here in Uganda. Let's first look at the day alone, 1st December. How has it been celebrated over the years here in Uganda?
I must say it's been changing. There was at one time where these celebrations were all about stigma. Ending stigma, lighting candles for those that passed on due to HIV/AIDS, people coming and talking about how they are living with HIV/AIDS. Over a time, now they have gone into coming to celebrate, not in a mourning mood. You know, we are coming to remember that day and all that. Now they come to celebrate the journey that Uganda has had. They come to look at the challenges. You'll find that it's more of a day bringing hope. Not like where they used to come, we are all sick, we are here, and mostly, even if you remember the HIV funding, most of these organizations had to be with a part, at least you had to be living with HIV/AIDS to be part, but now that has also changed. Anyone can. So previous was we are the same people, let's come together and share what we are going through. Now they have transformed away from that sorrowness, comforting each other, to now coming to how do we end HIV by 2030. You know, now they gather to look at better treatment. If you've been taking 4 tablets, they gather for new interventions. Now they gather to discuss an injection that is coming, where one, instead of taking tablets, maybe can receive an injection every 3 months. So now the gatherings are of hope of joy, living better, and ending HIV/AIDS.
They involved even those who are
those who are not
victims.
Yes, it's no longer a thing for people who are positive.
Right.
They moved out of that balloon. Now it is a thing for everybody, because we must believe and we must be very honest to one another. Anyone can contract HIV/AIDS. It's not only people who are that we label a certain, and I don't want to say that word, because for all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. For some people, it's just the mercy of God that has prevented you from contracting HIV. Not by your knowledge, not by your wisdom, not by your power. You've lived a funny life, but the grace of God has protected you. So we shouldn't associate it with maybe so and so. We have innocent, people who are born with HIV/AIDS. We have women who have been very faithful and the husband brings it. We have men who have been very faithful and the wife contracts. And so it is not any more to blame. It is an issue. It is real. It is with all of us.
Right. Good side of this whole conversation when it comes to AIDS and the World AIDS Day. Let me come over to you, Joan. Over the years, what are those achievements you've taken note of in the fight against AIDS in Uganda?
Okay, to begin off, I think this day, the celebration started in 1988, and it's been a while in Uganda while we are celebrating this. And the government of Uganda has really achieved great milestones in trying to, to make progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS. But then we cannot refrain from looking at what the Ministry of Health has done. NGOs, also you said, UNAID, that have contributed to the well-being of these patients of HIV/AIDS. For example, there has been a pioneering of a national response whereby the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Health and supportive development partners, have come together to sensitize and create awareness to respond to this. Then that used to be an emergency, but now people have learned to live with it, just like you've submitted, Robert. So people know what to do. Most of the people know what to do, how they can prevent it, and what to do in case they have contracted HIV/AIDS. So it's no longer as scary as before, though we need to really spread out information on how to go about HIV/AIDS. And also there is the one that Julie talked about. There is a significant drop in the prevalence of HIV compared to those years. It's really evident. There is a report that came out last week, and it showed that in a right direction in regards to lowering the prevalence of HIV/AIDS. And also we cannot not talk about prevention of mother-to-child transmission, because before it used to be so rampant that a mother spreads HIV to the child because there were no given mechanisms. The masses did not know what to do. But now with Ministry of Health contacting and also involving or engaging hospitals, health centers, for example, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also letting the people know, even village health teams, these are really helping out on the prevention of mother-to-child preventions. And also there is also the availability of ARVs or ARTs, and these mainly work with how to handle the patients of HIV, that is for ARVs, and ARTs on what you can do in case you already have it or you are breastfeeding. And also they've been a broader mobilization and sensitization on people how to use PEP and PrEP, because they are two different things. That in case, for example, medical personnel, or you've had an accident and you've been exposed, what can you do? You can as well go to the hospital, be guided by the medical personnel. And we can also note, I failed to talk about the strong partnerships that have come with henceforth. We have a lot of NGOs that are really participating. We have a lot of development partners, that especially in Rakai. Remember, that is where HIV/AIDS orchestrated from here in Uganda. population on making sure this is suppressed. And also UNAIDS, the targets of UNAIDS, the vulnerable people, especially the orphans. You know, there are people who are living with HIV/AIDS and they are orphans. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to get the facilities to manage this disease. So I think Uganda is really heading somewhere very good, and we have to applaud the government of Uganda together with the Ministry of Health and also other NGOs that are really helping out.
Right. Thank you very much. Joan, I almost mentioned Robert, but thank you for that submission, Joan. And according to the report that comes in from the UN as we look forward to the 1st of December, World AIDS Day, it talks about resilience and innovation that offer hope. And it states that despite the challenges, several countries have taken a swift action in a bid to close the funding gaps. And as a result, many countries are showing resilience when it comes to HIV treatment and delivery thereon. Some countries have even reported relatively steady numbers or even an increase in new initiations on antiretroviral therapy as a result of swift action to maintain services. Some of these countries mentioned come Nigeria, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa and Tanzania, all of whom that have committed to increasing domestic investments in HIV services. And UNAIDS is working with more than 30 countries to accelerate national sustainability plans. That means where there is resilience, it's an indicator that there are challenges. Now, Robert, you will definitely shed light on the challenges that we still have existing. But let me read a comment that comes from Josh, who is watching us from Mutungo. HIV should be prevented by organizing massive congregation teachings to people about it. Mother-to-child prevention should be sensitized and being faithful to partners. Thank you, Josh, for watching. I wonder why a sigh and a hum has been made on being faithful to partners, but
by who, Julie?
By Robert.
Exactly. This,
yes.
You are having.
You have a mic, remember? So definitely. But share some of the challenges that have faced the fight against HIV as we look forward to 2030, ending it by 2030.
First, I want to begin by commending government of Uganda, and to be more specific, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Because when the world thought this was a shame, when the world thought we should keep this as a secret, our own president led the league and said we have a problem, declared it globally. That for us in Uganda we have HIV/AIDS, and he attracted a number of development partners. For people then, TASO Uganda, I know Joan could have heard of that.
Yes.
Julie also, TASO Uganda, some of those organizations now they'll talk about Uganda Cares. You know, these came in very fast. And what they did is they improved the lives of persons living with HIV/AIDS. That people would no longer shrink and look like they lose all the flesh, you know, have some water out, and you by just looking at someone you would know that this one has HIV.
Actually, I was told the reason why it is called slim in Uganda is because people used to be so slim.
Yes,
that's why it came up about slim.
Yes. Very, very tight. It would be, they would have wounds, the skin. So this is support someone with HIV/AIDS. Now we moved thus far to where we are today. That a person with HIV/AIDS can be Julie, looking like Julie, can be you, you know. You can't differentiate me who is negative and the yous who are positive.
By the eyes.
By the eyes. Now you can't. So that is a tremendous achievement, that people now live with HIV/AIDS and live normal lives. Now challenges is what Julie put before me. First, we still have a challenge in funding as a country. Are you aware we do not fund even 50% of HIV initiatives in this country? And if you remember, one time His Excellency came out and said you can't sacrifice, I think he said, the 1.4 million Ugandans who were on ARVs by then because of this issue of homosexuality, because you are worried, should these people stop the funding, what else is going to happen? The biggest challenge we are having today is the funding. Two.
And before you go to that, Robert, the UNAIDS report for 2025 that happened on 25th November, that was in Geneva, it's revealed that the limited funding has thrown the response to HIV/AIDS in a turmoil of recent in the various countries.
Yes, because if you don't have money, for example, if you don't have sufficient monies to buy ARVs, I was speaking to one, that's the director of the Uganda AIDS Commission, and told me, Robert, putting one person on HIV a year is 1 million.
Yeah.
1 million a year. Now, we have about 1.3 Ugandans on ARVs. Now, multiply that by 1 million. So, if these drugs do not come in, what is it going to mean? That these people have suppressed their viral load and cannot even pass on. Because if someone sticks to their treatment, they suppress the viral load, and they are not able to pass on HIV to somebody else if they stick to their medication. Now, if the medication is not there, this viral load that has been suppressed, people are going to go to dilemma, and then again they'll be shall have so many infections. So funding is one. Two, we've reached a level what I want to call we've become complacent. How can I say it? Tumanyidde sirimu. Like the fear
is gone.
Is gone. People now, because you have so many ambassadors preaching positivity, living positive with HIV/AIDS, the Reverend Gideon, retired Major Baramira Ruranga, there are so many out there who tell you, I contracted HIV/AIDS, I'm now 30 years with HIV/AIDS, I have children, I did what? People have become complacent, and the young kids out there will tell you HIV is just like a fever. The young girls,
the young
no wonder.
Kids? The adolescents.
The adolescents. No wonder the biggest number of new infections is between the age of, is it 15 to 25?
That's true.
Now, these young girls and these
women
young boys
specifically
will simply tell you, contract HIV, go get treatment. They think it is that simple. So the complacency that we've gotten has hindered great strides. People would fear. Young girls would fear in engaging in these things.
Exactly. And
but today, someone's like, no. Because
young girls fear pregnancy more than
exactly that was the statement I was going to make.
Yes.
Some of them claim they rather have contract HIV than getting pregnant.
Now listen to that. So now away from the complacency that we've reached, also, believe you me, we still have challenges when it comes to stigma and fear of the unknown. That is why it is shocking that the report showed over, I think, 47,000 babies being born, or something like that, with HIV/AIDS. Why? And to me, that was the most shocking of this report. Prevalency has reduced, new infections, that I could say, but babies. In that report, my take home was, why are we still seeing young children, babies, innocent, being born with HIV/AIDS, yet government of Uganda has put strategies to save these young children? Now, I tried to analyze things, and one of them was stigma. You know that a mother will fear to test for HIV/AIDS. Some even shun going through hospitals where they can do HIV tests. Because she's like, a mother will fear to take her drugs. A man, let me tell you, the greatest fear of very many men, even in this room watching me, is telling them, and you on TV, that let's go for a blood test. Someone tell,
you, why don't you go?
Why don't you go? I don't know with my colleagues on set here. And some men, when their wife becomes pregnant, they'll wait for her to come back and return. Let me see. He wants to see if the woman is positive or negative. Now, the man forgets that they could be discordant couples. Now, if the wife is negative, you know, excited, he's jubilating, they are okay.
Forgetting there could also be even a window period. You could have just contracted it 2 months back.
If we could stay on the issue of men, I think some of the strategies that we have aligned is to put emphasis on men. And I think for me, this World AIDS Day should emphasize a message on men. Because on a general scale, men tend to careless about their health. They'll take their wives to hospital, they'll take their children to hospital, but they'll never go.
True.
You know, on a general scale, not just
yourself.
Yes, they, even when they have insurance, by the way, provided for at work, to get a man to hospital for a checkup, it's very hard, and yet it's important because at the end of the day, they are the backbones of our society. So I think this World AIDS Day, I don't know what the theme is for Uganda particularly. I believe it's following what the UN is, and that is overcoming disruption and transforming the AIDS response. But in there, in the response and the disruption, I think emphasis and the message should be posed.
And why, Julie, men play a critical role here? When you look at this age, 15 to 25, these young girls, one man has the ability to spread HIV/AIDS as much as the power of his wallet.
Recently, you said in that report, over 100 people contract HIV every hour.
Now, no, 4 people.
4 people.
4 people per hour.
Rather.
Yes, now, why I'm saying men are very important. Most of these young girls cannot make a wise decision either to use protection or not. Men out there, this they know. Now, these young girls are not contracting HIV/AIDS, the 15 to 25, willingly, but because of certain situations. She knows she wants to go to school. Now, this man is proving to be able to pay the school fees. She wants iPhone 17, you know. She's a young girl. She wants to look good like Joanne. She wants to look like good like Julie, but she can't afford it. She comes from this family. Now, the men are the biggest people in spreading HIV/AIDS because one man, one rich man can spread HIV like nothing. One would say even the women, but because if the men decide to have this test and be responsible, I don't want to talk about abstinence and being faithful because I know these are things that practically have failed.
Yeah.
We tell, when I was growing up, we had the ABC.
Yeah.
Was it ABC?
ABC, abstinence, be faithful, and use condoms.
But I want to... Things need to go well for them because at the end of the day, you know it's bad to lie to yourself. The abstinence, yet you know you're not abstaining. Now, when you go to faithfulness, those that are married, it is bad to lie to yourself. That a huge number of people are going to be faithful in their marriage.
Right. Now, this conversation has to come to the end, but Joan.
I was just talking about the issue of workers. Do you think in Uganda, most workplaces have really engaged workers about the fight against HIV? How often do they organize meetings, should I say meetings, or let me just say a workshop for the workers they are employing so that they are sensitized about...
The condoms are there, so...
Do they know how, do they use them? Because, Robert, when you said men are the ones who orchestrate infecting these guys, I totally agree, because a man can decide whether to use condoms or not, but for me, I'm a lady, I'm vulnerable. If I may insist in the first place, but if I'm raped. So you men decide, can I use protection?
Right. You want an iPhone or you want iPhone?
All right, let's close this with comments coming through.
iPhone naked.
Oh, wow, iPhone naked. Interesting. Netherlands, Brooklyn, Leo Brazen says we all have a right to keep up safe and protected. But if you get sick, start up medication after testing. Do not spread to others. And someone else just says good morning. Now I'll close this with a call to action from the UN report. And to this World AIDS Day, the UN AIDS is calling on global leaders, first and foremost, to reaffirm global solidarity and the collective commitment to fight and end AIDS together. But the other call to action is maintain funding for the response. And I think this is very important given the funding crisis that 2025 has shown the world. But also invest in innovation, including affordable long-acting prevention and treatment options, and also uphold human rights and empower communities. That is the call to action from UN AIDS, and according to the report that was released recently, as we look forward to the World disruption transforming the AIDS response. AIDS is a fight not just for the victims, but for every single individual. We are all involved, so World AIDS Day is for all of us You can do something. We here can do something. Each individual can do something so that we end AIDS by 2030, especially
know
the
your
men.
status.
This is a call to action
Know
for
your
men.
status.
Now, Ruben is coming up
Please,
next
Ruben.
with the sports, and he has Makoma
Engaged.
along to talk lots of rugby. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hdo.com or call 0800 335555.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With must-carry heritage advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, my name is Ruben Pim on a beautiful Thursday morning, and of course, like I always do it every Thursday, structure the bench, the bench that comes your way, and as usual, I'm always in the company of Pearson Makoma, the man who speaks rugby, who sleeps rugby, who eats rugby, the man who has been around for some time and knows what rugby is. But of course, before we go into rugby and before I introduce him, we had games played last night. Mike has prepared something here for us us to know, those who didn't watch the games, on your screen you can see that FC Copenhagen did actually win against Almaty. That was 3-2. Then we had a draw between Pafos and Monaco. That was 2-2. Then Arsenal, the biggest of the night, did beat Bayern Munich by 3-1. And the man of the match was the man from West Ham, the man called Muchiere. That's what they call him in Uganda. But in English is actually Declan Rice who did perform, but who is the best, and of course he took man of the match accolade. Then we had Atletico beating Inter by 2-1. Frankfurt lost to Atlanta. That was a 3-0. Then for me, the shock of the night, Micah, I don't know if you can agree with me, but the shock of the night was actually Liverpool losing at home to PSV Eindhoven by 4-1. At the Cup end, I did see Steven Gerrard on one of the channels, furious, livid, looking at, of course he did throw bottles everywhere, asking what has happened to Liverpool, where is the problem, how the mighty has fallen. Then of course we had Mbappe scoring 4, including a 7-minute hat-trick for Madrid against Olympiacos. That is the man who scored 4. 4 goals in a single game and 3 in 7 minutes. Now you ask yourself, is it the defense? Is it the brilliance of Mbappe? All that you will tell us what you think. Then of course PSG with a red card beat Spurs 5-3, and Vitinha had a hat-trick in that game as well. Then Sporting Lisbon beat but that is a Club Rouge by 3-0. Now yesterday it was actually raining goals in Champions League. All the who understand betting, all games ended in over. I don't know whether God understands betting here, God in Mesugwa, but I'll teach him how these things work. Over means goals in the match, Godwin. But now if you say over of 2.5, it's 3 goals in a single game. So every game yesterday ended in over. I don't know if I have it, remember here who's Kapapula, who's a part of the Kapapula. Maybe Eddie Moyes was actually part of the Kapapula. He would give you overs. Anyway, but away from the Champions League into matters rugby. I'm in the company of Pearson Makoma, the man. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
I see rugby all over you.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So, how have you been?
I've been well, catching up with a different experience over the weekend that we just had with the foreign tour for the Triton. So it was a good one for those that had taken long without watching Floodlights Rugby. And yeah, it was a good one for those who have also never watched women play, especially in the later evenings. So it was a good evening tour, and yeah, it was all very fresh for all of us that wanted to watch foreign faces cruise with the black ones on the face. Yeah. Okay, that takes us to that discussion, Pearson. Yes.
One would have to understand.
Yes.
The Tritons. What was it about? I mean, why did they choose Uganda as a destination, and as a country, did we benefit?
Yeah, the take homes might not mature right away, but I believe the future is bright for those that are, so intentional. That's of course the Uganda Rugby Union and the individuals behind the cookery. And of course this means the Uganda Rugby Union, with those that are behind the program, make sure that it returns. And this is returning of course for the second time. It was here the first time and it was for the men. And now this time around you can see on your screen it is only women. Of course not only, but of course that's the action for the women's game, which was a climax for the day. But it means there are take-home points. One, the ladies were able to have an excellent program with the schools that are playing rugby in Uganda, with Green Hill being one of those schools that was selected for a CSR get-together program for the skills knowledge transfer exchange. And there are many that we are looking at, or that the rugby union will be looking at in enticing this whole program, and the flair of this coming in handy to ensure that the athletes behind there, or the young athletes in the future, have an excellent program with this team or this club, and maybe various partnerships. But of course, it came around with the British High Commission, in line with the Uganda High Commission in UK, connecting all these and ensuring that the two teams touch base in Uganda. That is for both men and women. So having the men last year touring Tanzania and Kenya, they believed Uganda was the best destination, because after the games on Saturday, they had to tour Jinja, and of course Sunday was a roller coaster for them. And then Monday, they had to go to the other game parks to tour the animals and the other sceneries of Uganda. So touring the nature also goes down to the big economic basket for the country. And of course, the take-homes are that they're behind partnerships that are being underscored by the Uganda Rugby Union to ensure that it only doesn't go to the sweating on the pitch. It goes to big partnerships that shall be in return a resource to the Uganda Rugby Union, and in return pay up for the Uganda Rugby Cranes, which is our biggest sale for the national team. So this will be handy and big
I
enough.
saw someone in the picture with someone.
Well,
should we say that you said yes? Did you say yes?
Well, that's a big joke of the day, of course, Ruben. But of course, those were moments.
You might have said yes somewhere, Pearson.
those were moments rubbing shoulders with the former captain for England. That is Shona, who was the headline captain for the event. And of course, having come in big to exchange her skills with the young ones. And of course, for those of us who deal with the growth or the development coaching sides, we had moments to rub shoulders and have skills and knowledge transferred. And